Even if today is rough, tomorrow could be a tipping point for something better. That's why I spoke with individuals in Clarksville for Suicide Awareness Month who at one point didn't think they could see a tomorrow, such as 17-year-old Claudia Fowler.
I think the biggest stigma is people think that people who commit suicide do it because they're just sad. And people mistake depression for something more of just a feeling instead of a actual mental health issue.
Claudia is about to graduate high school and looks forward to the many things life has to offer. A stark difference to when she was 14 and attempted suicide.
That's where it all rooted from. I have diagnosed depression and anxiety. And that's where it's pretty much all come from. It's there's no specific reason of why I was sad or why I was feeling that way. I think a lot had to do with school and just a lot of pressure from everyone and everything. But I think mostly it's just the fact that I have depression and anxiety, and it wasn't anything big that should have led to that point, but it did. Yes. It's the building point that I think nobody really talks about. The fact that all the little things add up, and then people are asking what was the big thing, and then you're just well, there was no big thing. It was just a bunch of little things. Honestly, I just never imagined being past this point. At that time, I just never imagined being past this point, and now that I'm past that point, I love it. I love the idea of growing up and going to college and achieving my dream jobs and my dreams, and I'm thankful for life at this point.
Claudia said finding a good support system has been a huge revelation for her.
I think that the best thing for you to do is try and find a support system, even if maybe it's not your family, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a neighbor, but if you at least find one person that you can really rely on, it would change the whole world difference. It would just make the biggest difference.
Letitia Kumi said she fought a silent battle with her mental health a year and a half ago, and similarly had a bunch of little things pile up to the point where it became overwhelming.
Being so overwhelmed with school, overwhelmed with work, I never really had time to myself, and I just didn't realize that I was really worth anything, and I was what did I have to lose, or what did they have to lose by losing me at that point? Nobody even knew that I was going through that, or that I really actually attempted, so it was kind of like a wake-up call for me when that happened.
Letitia, now about to graduate, says there are so many things she would have missed had her attempt come to fruition.
If I really would have, not been able to make it through that time, I wouldn't be able to be that positive influence on other people or be able to look forward to my graduation now. So yeah, I've definitely had those moments, and it just makes me very grateful and thankful that I am alive.
Both Claudia and Letitia are in the age range for the highest suicide rates in Tennessee. 10 to 24-year-olds have had the highest rates of suicide, with a steady increase since 2011. However, according to statistics from the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network, men are more likely to die by suicide. For Jonathan Miller, he was almost a part of that statistic.
I had been released from the hospital after having an amputation on my foot, and was not allowed to basically walk around or have freedom. I was tied to a bed, and that low point of I can't be self-sufficient. I can't do what I want to do if I want to do it. That, with some of my previous trauma coupled together, I went after the pain medication that I had been given, and if it wasn't for my younger brother coming home from work right before I downed the bottle, I wouldn't be here today.
Even though he is here 6 years after his suicide attempt, he said that not every day is easy, but in working with his nonprofit, Mie Wellness, he found peace in the trauma.
I have multiple health conditions that make it very difficult for me to plan the next day, the next week, and figure out where I'm going. I wake up in the morning and I don't know if I'm going to be in the hospital within the next hour, 2 hours. I have to live life as if tomorrow is my last. And if I can, knowing that tomorrow may be my last, even more so than figuratively because of my health, if I live every day with the fear of tomorrow is my last, I will never live. The advocacy work that I do in the nonprofit that I work for, seeing the changes that are actually happening, although they're slow, hearing from clients and people that I talk to about how my existence has helped them, that is a big reward, because without me still being here and turning all that turmoil and all that trauma into something so positive, those hearts might not have been touched.
For more on suicide awareness and resources out there to help, you can go to our website. With Clarksville Now, I'm Angela Peterson.